guys, welcome back. Today I am doing another get ready with me video. A few of you guys commented on my Beautylish Lucky Bag video saying I should test out all of the products I received in a video, and I thought that was a fantastic idea, so I'm doing kind of like a trying new makeup style video today because I also had some other new products kicking around that I haven't tried out yet that I thought would just be fun to test out for the first time on camera. It's not going to be quite a full face of first impressions, but I do have a lot of new products to test out, and I know this video is already going to be really long, so just before we get started, everything I use and talk about will be linked in the description bar as always, but let's jump into it. So I'm actually going to start off by prepping my lips because if you saw the Lucky Bag video, you would know that I got the ByTerry Baume De Rose lip balm, but I also want to talk about the new MAC Lip Scrumptious lip scrubs. I got sent the brown sugar scent, and I have to say, I've really been enjoying this. I've already tried it. It's basically kind of the perfect balance between gritty but then also really hydrating. The base of it is really oily, so I'd recommend not using it when you have a full face of foundation on already. Like, definitely use it before you do your makeup, just because that way you can get a little bit messy with it and it's not going to remove your foundation. Vigorously scrub it in, and you can see I'm not trying to stay like in my lip lines or anything. I'm just kind of going to town. I definitely want to try some of the other scents. I know one of the other ones I have is passion fruit, which sounds amazing, and this just smells exactly like brown sugar. Really cute. Looks kind of like I just ate like a sloppy joe or something. And then I just remove it with like a warm face cloth. The one thing I've always loved about the Lush one is that it's so easy with it being edible. You can just lick it off and you don't actually have to wipe it off with anything. It's really nice. It just leaves my lips so soft. And then I am going to take my ByTerry lip balm. This is really lovely, but it is honestly extremely similar to Dior Creme de Rose. And Creme de Rose is like, what, $20 cheaper? Probably even more because that's Canadian prices. But for primer, I'm going to be using this MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance base in Radiant Yellow. And it is just like a pale yellow. So I'm just gonna dot that on. I mentioned in the past that I really like yellow correctors for redness and like pinkness on really fair skin. It's just a lot more natural looking than green correctors. Of course, my face always gets a little bit more red immediately after touching it, as you can see, so it doesn't really show the results immediately. The next thing I wanted to try in this video is this Stila Correct and Perfect Palette. I got a really nice PR package from Stila in December with a ton of new goodies, and they actually sent me 2 of these, so one of these will be in a giveaway at some point, but I have yet to try it. This is what it looks like. You get 5 creams at the top and then 2 powders, and one thing that I like about this is it's very beginner friendly. It has like all the shades on the back here, but then it also says what you can use them for. I'm looking majorly tired today, so I'm going to start off by mixing the light pink and then this more kind of peachy shade. I've heard that these are quite oily and they are kind of sweating a little bit, so I think that is definitely going to be true. I'm going to start off by adding a little bit of this under my eyes. They definitely are very emollient feeling. I think it did a pretty good job though. I think even mixed together it's a little bit dark, but it does add a very natural brightening effect. The formula of these is very creamy, but it's also thin, so it doesn't seem to be giving me any problems. Like, it's not creasing in my little fine lines at all, so that is really good. I never use green correctors, but I'm going to try this one today just for the heck of it and do that on some of my more red areas. I'm going to do a little bit on my nose. People always like suggest green correctors for me, but the thing is I find that I have so much redness that when I use a green corrector I have to use so much of it that it ends up being too apparent. It's not like I have one little spot that I can dab a little bit of green corrector on. It's kind of just like all over, so it ends up being a little bit too much. So most of the time I'm just like, I would just rather go for like a really full coverage foundation. These do seem to blend really well, and this doesn't seem like too green. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply my Tarte Water Foundation. I'm just gonna speed through this part because I use this all the time. Decided to do concealer at the same time, so I just went in with my Tarte Shape Tape. I'm kind of torn now because usually I would set my eye area immediately with powder, but I want to use this little RMS cream highlighter that I got in my Lucky Bag, and this is like already starting to crease on me. I do not understand how some people say that they can wear this and not set it because it creases so much on me, and I know I use a lot, but that's just what I like to do. But I gotta use this before I set anything with powder, so that's just what we're gonna do today. So this is the Magic Luminizer from RMS Beauty. I'm gonna take a little bit of this baby on my ring finger. This is really oily once again. I'm not gonna lie, I don't often like working with cream highlighters just because it's tricky. Like, you can't set your face right away, but highlight's typically the thing I do very last. Seems to be like really subtle. I feel like this really isn't doing much. I feel like this would be a better product definitely if you like really ultra natural makeup. Like I might wear this on days when I'm just wearing like CC cream because I tend to gravitate more towards cream products on those kind of days. Now I'm just gonna kind of reblend that creased concealer just by taking my beauty blender and using patting motions, just moving inwards so that extra product isn't going to keep settling in my crease. And then I'm gonna take the yellow powder from the Stila set and set my under eye with this. I've heard that these powders are quite sheer, so I'm hoping that is true. See, and then I just end up like setting where that cream highlight is. I feel like it's so pointless unless you're like someone who doesn't use powder at all, but I really need powder if I'm doing like a full face of makeup. Okay, it's like way more yellow on this side of my face, right? Why did it do that? This side looks nice and then this side is like really freaking yellow. I'm gonna prime my lids quickly and do my brows off camera like usual just to save time, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I used the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer on my brows. But what I actually ended up doing is I used the little Wayne Goss brush from my Lucky Bag to do my concealer underneath my brows and kind of get those really nice clean edges. And I kind of am in love with this for that purpose. I feel like this is perfect for getting those like little tiny precise edges under your brows. So I'm quite happy. This might be like a new favorite, and it was honestly the thing I was least excited about in the bag. For the rest of my face, I'm going to use the kind of lavender powder just really lightly. Once again, I've heard this is really good, so hopefully it doesn't disappoint. Lavender corrects kind of yellow sallow tone, so it's supposed to help brighten for those of you who don't know the color correcting purpose. Overall, I think my complexion looks okay. I'm definitely feeling like it looks a little bit rougher and the texture just looks a little bit more uneven than usual though. This is the Maybelline Brow Precise Fiber Volumizer. When I hauled this, everyone was like, be careful, the wand on this sucks. Like it ruined my makeup when I was trying it. But I want to try it for you guys. It is like an extremely peculiar wand. Only one of the sides has bristles and they're very short and there's a lot of fibers in this I can see because it looks kind of hairy. Let's zoom in a little bit. But I'm gonna brush off the excess there and I'm gonna go in really, really lightly. I do love the fact that this looks like it has so many fibers in it because my brows are so thin naturally. I was looking into microblading and I so badly want to get it done, but apparently you have to wait a year after taking Accutane. But I want to get it done so bad. I don't want to wait until like next November. I think this is actually looking okay. I think because you guys warned me and I knew to go really light with it, I think it looks okay. It is a little bit goopy though, I will say. Like it's really defining each hair and filling in my brows. But at the same time, it just kind of looks a little bit chunky in some places, but I think overall it's okay. I'm gonna set my lids with a little bit of the RCMA powder before we jump into eyeshadow. For the eyes today, I'm going to be using the Makeup Atelier palette that was in my Lucky Bag. I didn't notice this in the video, but this is the natural chestnut one, and of course it'll be linked down below as always. And because I'm not really feeling a full matte eye today, I also decided to try out this MAC Kabuki Magic Quad that's coming out with their new collection. These are dazzle shadows, so they're kind of like just a glitter top coat kind of shadow, if you know what I mean. So I'm just gonna be doing that all over my lid after. I really just want to see how these shadows blend and if they're good quality, so I'm just gonna do kind of like a standard blended crease like I usually do and use kind of these three shades here. So I'm gonna start off with the lightest peachy shade and kind of just start blending that in. So I'm getting a surprising amount of color from that really light peachy shade. So far so good. I'm gonna go in just with like the next darkest shade and build that up a little bit. I don't want this eye to get super dark. Just going back in with the original brush and blending those two colors together. And I'm just gonna do the tiniest little bit of this shade right here. Once again, I don't want this to be too dark, so I'm just gonna do the tiniest little bit. They're pretty nice. Had a little bit of issues right in here with that darker shadow, but I would definitely reach for this palette more. It's pretty user-friendly. Then I'm gonna go in with the lightest shade in this palette and I'm going to press this all over my lid and just kind of clean that up. Ooh, that's actually quite pigmented. I always like a palette that's got a really nice like cream matte highlighting shade. I'm just doing this so when I go in with the MAC shadow, it'll just stand out a little bit more. Because like I said, I have swatched these and they seem to just be a lot of like chunky kind of glitter. They don't have much color in the base. I'm definitely impressed with the amount of pigment that this shadow is giving me. Very pleasantly surprised. I'm gonna take my trusty Too Faced glitter glue and dab a little bit of this over that shadow. So on the lid, I'm going to use this shade here. It's kind of pink with a red duochrome and it's got a lot of gold glitter on it. So I'm gonna pick that up. I already feel like this is gonna have a ton of fallout. And just pack that onto my lids generously on top of that glitter glue. It's definitely a really cool shade, but oh, it is giving me a ton of fallout. These are definitely going to need some kind of sticky base, like glitter glue. e.l.f. also has their glitter primer too. You can use that if you want something a little bit more affordable. I feel like just wetting your brush though will not cut it with these. You guys see the fallout that is happening there? It is intense and the palette itself is very messy. I'm gonna blend out those edges really quick, and then I'm also gonna do my lower lash line. Yeah, I don't know, these shadows look cool, but they're just kind of messy. I don't know if it's really worth dealing with all the glittery mess. Okay, so I'm gonna do some quick liner off camera with my Etude House liner pen. So the liner is on, I'm going to curl my lashes, and then the next item in my lucky bag was the IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara, which is supposed to be super volumizing. So as I mentioned, the wand is pretty standard. It's got kind of shorter bristles and it's slightly tapered at the end, but other than that, it looks pretty basic. I do tend to prefer mascaras with plastic bristle wands, just because I like a more fanned out separated kind of look, and I like length rather than volume most of the time. But you never know, some of the mascaras I do love have these more traditional kind of wands. One thing that I'm not loving is it does seem to kind of be clumping my lashes together into little groups, which when you have very fine, crappy lashes like me, that's not the best look. And I find that does happen with wands that have kind of like flatter bristles on the ends. So far I'm feeling just kind of like mediocre about this mascara. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other eye though. So I don't think the mascara is bad, it's just not very well aligned with my personal preferences. Tiny bit clumpy, but definitely more volume. Like, it's not giving me much in terms of length, and it does seem to be slightly drooping my curl down, and yes, I did get some there. I'll fix that in a second when it dries. Not bad by any means, but not a fave for me, at least not at this point. For my cheeks, I'm going to use this Gosh Contour and Strobe Kit that I hauled a little while ago as well. I'm going to use this for all of my cheek products today, starting off with a little bit of the bronzer. And once again, I'm just gonna speed this part up because my bronzing routine pretty much always stays the same. The bronzer and contour from this little kit seem really nice. They're very soft powders and very easy to blend. The one exception being, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it just like stuck to this one part of my forehead really awkwardly, and I like can't blend it out. But I did use quite a light hand because this is the medium contour kit. I mentioned when I hauled it that I didn't even notice. I just chose it because the blush and the highlight appealed more to me. But let's do a little bit of the blush now. This is the first thing I've ever tried from Gosh, so I was very interested to see what the quality is like. The blush seems nice too, a little bit more pigmented than I was expecting, so I'm going to soften up the edges of it a little bit, but so far I'm happy. And then I'm going to take the highlight here. Don't really know how well this is going to show up on my skin because it is a little bit darker. I think I'm definitely going to like this kit when I do have a little bit of a tan though. I built it up quite a bit and it is subtle, but it's definitely there. I think it's perfectly fine for like a more natural highlight. I'm pretty pleased with this overall, especially for being slightly more affordable. Finally, we are onto the lips. I'm going to be trying out my first Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipstick. I have never bought from Jeffree Star because I know there's quite a bit of controversy with the line, and in my experience, brands that have like moral controversies in their past are bound to have them in their future. So I just tend to steer clear of those kind of brands, so I have no idea what the quality of these is like. The applicator is pretty cool. It's like a doe foot, but it's got kind of like, it looks almost like a little like a high heel. It's got like a little divot in it. And I got the shade Androgyny in my lucky bag. Don't know if I already mentioned that. Okay, so I have to say I like the applicator. The shape of it is really nice. It makes it really effortless, especially on my bottom lip. It is a little bit flimsy though. I wish it was a little bit more stiff. It just kind of wiggles a little bit too much on your lips. The applicator also held quite a bit of product. I only had to dip the wand in once more just towards the very end to get a little bit more product. It is getting very dry already and it's quite thin on my lips. I'm gonna let this dry for a second and everything and like fix my hair, and then I'm gonna see if I get any transfer from it. So I gave the lipstick like a solid 5 minutes to kind of dry and set and everything. So we're gonna do a little kiss test. Ooh, quite a bit of transfer. I was not expecting that. It is a little bit sticky still, but I was not expecting that much to transfer. And I really did a thin layer. It was very pigmented. I didn't have to like go over my lips a bunch of times. So I'm a little bit surprised by that because I thought they were supposed to be like super transfer proof. I just kissed my hand a couple more times and you can see I got transfer on every single one of them. But overall, I'm happy with how it turned out. I think my favorite thing that I got in my lucky bag actually has ended up being the Makeup Atelier palette. This is really nice. Like, I feel like that crease is just really beautiful. I believe these were only $35 on Beautylish. So I would actually check out more of the shades for these. I think they're worth looking into. This I'm a little bit iffy on. I did like the lavender powder, but I feel like my skin just looks quite textured once again today, and I don't know if that's from the creams underneath or if that is from the powder, but usually when I use like my Tarte foundation and then set it with like RCMA powder or whatever, I don't have that issue. My skin usually looks quite smooth. Just so this video doesn't get too much longer, I will put kind of like a summary on my thoughts of all the products I tried in the description bar down below, and once again, all of the products I tried will be linked down below as well. But I think that's going to be it for today's video. Give this video a thumbs up if you like these style of videos. Don't forget to go follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I'm at Sarah Rihanna on all three. And hit that subscribe button down below if you are new here, but I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye guys!